Okay, so to make a spaghetti bolognese for one, you will need one small onion, a quarter of a pepper, half a stick of celery, so that's half of one of these. You don't want any more than half because it will just overpower it. 2 bird-eye chillies, chopped, and put everything in, put all the insides in. 2 garlic cloves. You then need 125 grams of mince, so that's half of this. You can use all of it if you're really hungry, but I use 125 grams of mince, a beef stock cube, some red wine, a teaspoon of mango chutney, a teaspoon of honey, drop of Tabasco, drop of Worcester sauce, some chilli powder hot and some coriander, and then this is meant to be chronological. I don't know how much passata. I normally use about half of this tub, so about 200 grams of passata, or half a tin of chopped tomato, so one or the other. You'll need a little bit of double cream. I can't tell you how much, it's probably something like 30 millilitres of cream, a little bit of puree, tomato puree, some salt and pepper, and some spaghetti, about that much. Method. Okay, so first, now I use a wok, but you can use a frying pan. I use a wok because it just keeps it in more. So just put your wok on a high heat just to start warming the pan. You need a little bit of olive oil. I just sprinkle a little bit on like that. Drink some wine whilst you're waiting. So just spread the oil around so it's fairly even Stevens. Now first just put your onions in, because the onions need a little bit more softening. So what I do is I normally put the onions in for about 3 minutes. I do lower the heat down as well because they start to crackle and pop. So just move them around a bit so that they all get a little bit softened. In the meantime, I start chopping the bits of garlic. I'm not sure if you can see that from here. No, you probably can. So after your 3 minutes on the onions, just add in the celery, the chopped pepper and the chopped what are they called? Chillies, the chopped chillies. And now move that around. Leave this for another 3 minutes.
Hello and welcome to qualifying day in Singapore. The paddock is a glorious place, of course, but we had to come and show you a bit of this. What a skyline! Look at that! How do you enhance such a view? Well, you put this pair of stones in it. Mark Webber and David Crowthar. Welcome, welcome, chaps. Fabulous to see you. We arrived here on the created by Charles Leclerc after a stunning win at Monza. Not forgetting that amazing win at Spa also 2 on the balance. This is the realest of these, Mark. I think I'm right to say.
He is, Steve, and I think that that first victory was sometimes in Bahrain. It's an opportunity to get that Lucy first victory in something style, isn't it? I mean, Spa, intriguing circumstances with Saturday, and then Monza with the win with Ferrari in Italy. In a very, very tough Grand Prix, let's be said, with Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas given the white ball thing. Very, very impressive.
I mean, Mark hit the nail on the head there. It wasn't just the fact that he helped Ferrari get the first win at Monza in 9 years. It was the way he did it. You know, Hamilton on the hunt. Then Bottas had a crash. Couldn't break him. We haven't seen Mercedes have a thing like that for a long time.
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing with him standing down his performance. Yes, he really fast. That's how he's got himself into the Ferrari team. But the key thing that separates the very best from the greats of the sport is the ability to get down and dirty, get the elbows out. And he definitely did that.
After your 3 minutes is up, what I do is I just get like a normal cereal bowl and just pour all of the softened vegetables and onions into the bowl. Put it back on the heat. Add a little bit more olive oil to the pan, because next what's going in is the beef mince. Just put up at full heat for a little bit just to get that olive oil warmed up. So what I do with the mince as well, sometimes I will have the whole 250 grams of mince if I'm really hungry, but if not, I will have just half of it, and I'll save half for tomorrow night. Well, sometimes what I do is I double all of the ingredients and use all of this, and I make 2 nights worth. So I'll have one tonight, and then so you split it half onto 1 plate tonight, and the rest of it will go into a Tupperware box, which you can then simply reheat in the microwave or in the pan again tomorrow, so save you having to cook again tomorrow night. So just take half of this mince, so that's 125 grams, into the pan. Doesn't look very much actually. Tempted to put the whole lot in. No, I shall refrain. I shall stick to my original ingredients plan. And then I just seal it back over like that to stop the air getting in. Sometimes I might cling film it. It depends on the date. This is a very good date on it. So put that back in the fridge. With the mince, just push the mince down so that it gets browned evenly all over. In the meantime, I get the 2 garlic cloves, which I've just peeled whilst you weren't looking, and I crush them into the vegetables that we've already done. not actually the best person at crushing, but just crush them in. You always find that there's little bits left over that get stuck in the crusher, but sometimes I chop the garlic instead, you know, like an onion, I chop it very finely, but sometimes I just can't be bothered. It's more easier to crush it. Anything that's still in the crusher I just take out and quickly slice like this, because you don't want big chunks of garlic really in your mouth. It sort of spoils the taste when you come across a big chunky piece of garlic. Right, that's that bit done, and you can see that this is browning quite nicely. Always drink wine whilst cooking. So all you're doing here is you're just waiting for all the mince to be completely brown. As I've got this on, you know, quite I suppose a medium heat. You don't want to do the mince on a high heat. You don't want to, you know, burn it and scald it. You just want to do it so that it slowly browns, not quickly. Otherwise, it will get blackened, and then it will taste like charcoal when you're eating it. Okay, see, so it doesn't take long. I mean, what was that, 3 or 4 minutes? Now, you want to put something in it now to stop it from burning. So I just put, I mean, that's just a small glass of red wine. You don't want to completely drown it. Just put a small glass of red wine in, and I do actually mean a small glass. I may have put a little bit too much in there. You don't want to completely cake it in red wine, a bit like what I've done here. So you just add the red wine, and what this does is it will now slowly burn away on the same heat, you know, kind of a medium heat. It will burn the wine away, but it's adding a bit of flavour to it. Meanwhile, get ready an OXO cube.
He said in a recent interview, it's not a mental thing, he's feeling great. Stacey, how can we believe that? If it's not a confidence thing, has he just lost what once got him 4 world titles?
Well, first of all, I think that these guys are subjected to relentless media scrutiny. Every Thursday they have to meet the world press, they have to answer all the questions. They just take a default position, which is least said, quick as mended, defensive. Clearly there's something not right. And actually I hadn't fully appreciated just how many mistakes he's made in wheel-to-wheel combat. I think all his stats, he's never won from anywhere off the front 2 rows or something like that. So he clearly is not as good wheel-to-wheel racing as Hamilton or some of the other great champions. In fact, he's got 4 titles, he's fast. He deserves those titles, he was the right guy at the right time. Not ran hard right down to the last round, but in the end he got those championships. Right now though,
once most of the wine has gone away, I like to taste the oxide. You crushing the oxo cube into the mince like that. Drink some wine. Mix it around. Okay, so now it goes nice and dark, but you can smell some nice flavours coming out of it. What I do then is add in all the vegetables and the garlic that we put on top of that. And just mix that around. Okay, now I just leave that for a second. What I do then is I fill the kettle up and I boil the kettle ready for when we're going to start boiling the spaghetti. Then I start adding all of the other little things. So this is the mango chutney, so I'm just putting a teaspoon of that directly in. Honey. Teaspoon directly in. Try and stir as you go. Really should run the kettle beforehand. That's a chunk of mango chutney there. That's not going to taste good. Couple of splashes of Tabasco sauce. Couple of splashes of Worcester sauce, not too much. Some chilli powder. That's now empty. Coriander. Again, mix it around. drinking wine. Okay. So we've boiled a kettle of water. Pour that into your pan. Right, 3/4 full. Get that going. Now, I just pour a little bit of table salt into the water, a sprinkling of table salt, just so that the spaghetti doesn't stick. And then the way I measure it is I literally just go like that. I kind of know off the top of my head, but I suppose if we were to look at how much is in here, total of 500 grams, this will probably do me 10 spaghetti bolognese. So yeah, you're probably looking at 50 to 100 grams. Snap it in half and then just put it into the bowl. This takes between 12 and 14 minutes, but it depends how you like it. So I go for 14 minutes, so I put the timer on for 14 minutes for that, and then we just finish off the last bits of this. 1548, 1902. So now I use this Passata. This particular one's got basil in it, which is good. You know, or you can use half a tin of chopped onions, but chopped tomatoes. But I don't like all of the big lumpy bits of the tomatoes, right? I end up leaving them. This Passata is much smoother. I don't know whether you can see that in there. It's needs some good light, but it's you'll see as I pour it out. So again, I don't normally measure how much I put in, but it depends on if you're using a lot of mince, and it depends if you've used a big onion or a small onion. It has to all be sort of a bit proportional. You know, the more vegetables you put in, the more passata you should put in, otherwise it will just be a big vegetable pot, you know. So what I've got there, this is a perfect texture. I don't know how good that's coming out, but that to me is a perfect texture. Okay, so that stays there. What we add now is a squirt of tomato puree, just to sort of thicken it up a little bit. And then I get some double cream, and you really have to put very small amount of double cream in, otherwise it will make it so creamy. I can't explain. Just watch how much I'm putting in. It really is just like, it's basically like not even a tablespoonful, because otherwise, well, you'll see now as I mix it, you'll see it change colour from like a dark sort of brown, and it's going to turn into a nice sort of orangey colour, or light brown. Okay, and then what else have we got? There's not any salt and pepper left now, so I just put a bit of salt and pepper on top of that. This is obviously on a high heat. This spaghetti is on a high heat for 12 or 14 minutes, whichever you prefer. But as you can see, so I always leave it like this because by the time, you know, it's normally left, when I've done all this, there's normally 10 minutes left, so it's 10 minutes that this can just sort of simmer for and just develop its flavour. You can let this cook for 2 hours and to get even more flavour for it. But that's if you have the time. Then I just get a fork and periodically burn myself by stirring the spaghetti. And just do that every 3 to 4 minutes. Keep your eye on this. Sometimes you might find you want to put it on a lower heat, because at the moment this is fairly thick already. So, sometimes if you've put sort of too much wine in, or you've put the vegetables in before the wine's had a chance to burn off and it's very liquidy, you know, you want to keep it on a high heat. But this is actually quite a good texture, so I'm going to put this on a lower heat down here. Turn that one off. Just lower that heat down. Otherwise, if you leave it too much on a high heat when it's already nice and sort of thick, it just ends up sort of burning and becoming a bit black and becoming very, very dry. So you have two different issues. What could happen here is it could either go very, very dry, in which case I normally add more wine or water. Water is actually probably a better thing to add than wine actually. So if it's too dry, add some water and stir it around. If it's still too liquidy and you're running out of time because the spaghetti is about to be cooked, let's say you've only got 3 minutes left, the spaghetti's cooked, obviously you can't just keep the spaghetti in there because then you'll ruin the spaghetti. What you can do, if you've got it, is you can use some corn flour to thicken this up. So if it's still liquidy, you use some corn flour. I can't put any in now because it will spoil it, but it will then basically suck up all of the liquid and make it a thicker texture that you need to be. So that's the 2 ways to cheat. So if it's too dry, add some water. If it's too wet, add some corn flour. And that's basically it. So you don't do anything here really apart from just keeping an eye on it whilst this continues for another, I've forgotten now, another 8 minutes.
Make a penalty when it comes to the grid itself, but for now, he has pushed the Toro Rosso out. Good luck by Puree.
I just pour it on. Yes, I know you can use a spoon of some sort. And there you have it, a magnificent spaghetti bolognese for one.